Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Monday morning. How is
Hi,
everybody? Okay, what am I looking for? My screen. Hold on just a second. Where was I going? Let me share my screen and we'll get started in just a second. Well, you know what? I edited this page and I did not save it. So let me see if I can catch up with myself. Or find where I edited it. Let me just check for a sec. Oh, my computer's running so slow. I apologize. We'll get started soon. Yep, there it is. Good. It caught up. Okay, so here we go. So hello, everybody, and welcome to the September 11th Documentation Task Force and Mentorship Call. We are getting started with our presentation work to get our final recommendations in front of people to either get approvals or suggestions or advice. So today we're just going to introduce ourselves, and I thought that everybody could work or talk about where they are with the subcommittees. And I guess we can do that as we like introduce ourselves, because that makes the most sense, because everybody's dying to get started. And I saw everybody's work, and I was going to put it all together, but I wasn't really sure where all together was at this point because I missed the last meeting. So I held off on that, but that's one of the things that I want to accomplish today too. So, and then we need to talk about scheduling and what these presentations can look like for us. And then if there's any other business. So let me just get started by editing this so I can put our names down. Hold on, let me just get the participants up. Perfect. There we go. So I'll go last because I'm, trying to catch up with everything, but I'm going to put my name down first. And just to say what I've been working on, because Agnes could not continue because she has a full-time job, I kind of was looking at the user guides. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get that organized in case somebody wants to step in and do that presentation part. Again, because I don't need to be presenting. It's up to you guys to shine or present, show your stuff. So again, I'll be working on that so that if anybody steps into that, and then if not, somebody can just pick that section up. So I'm going to, again, and let me just really quick do this. So again, I've been working from this presentation, and I know Arunima and I had chatted about her taking control of this. So I just was doing my user guide stuff on here and haven't really done anything more to this. But again, unless, oh, what was a jump? So unless Arunima, you have edited somewhere else or done the presentation work. And I was trying to, I know, we had a PowerPoint come in from Magical or from one of the Figma or from wherever, and I tried to put it in, but I was having trouble, and it was like 10:30 at night, and I was tired, so I didn't do it. But I intend to get that presentation, because again, we'll go over that when it's time. But that was fabulous. So again, my only question to you, Arunima, before we get started is, are you keeping this information somewhere else, or are we working from that? So I'm going to turn it over to you to catch us all up, and then we'll go through the different sections.
So we can please tell me that what information I'm talking about the presentation?
Unfortunately, we can't hear you. You're chopping in and out again.
Am I audible?
No, could you type it in the chat?
Can you hear me now?
I don't know about anybody else, but you're still very choppy.
No,
I didn't hear
hear me now?
Can just type in a
So Arunima, we really, I can speak for myself. I can't hear you. I don't know if anybody else wants to give the thumbs up if they're having problems hearing. Oh, it was just me? Oh, no, everybody, I see. Okay. Kapoor and Victoria also, yeah. So everybody's having problems
we
hearing me.
are also having problems.
Is it
That's
audible?
why we did the thumbs up.
Go ahead, Arunima, I think it's better. Yep. So Arunima, I'm not sure if you can hear us at this point. You sounded better for a second, but then you dropped off the call. Okay. So let
she's
me,
rejoining, I think so.
yeah, I'm sure she is. I'm just going to go back to this for a second and let me. Okay, so I'm not seeing her get back on, so I'm sure she's having problems. So I'm not really sure from last week's meeting if she was working from this section or if she had other places where she was storing this, but I'm just going to assume that we're working from here. And I'm going to continue with what where we were, and if she has corrections when she gets here, she can make them. So again, this was going to be the kind of agenda and the story we're telling about, you know, what we did this summer, and she's going to walk it through with like different personas. And my question, and she said that she was going to work on this, so I'm not really sure where this goes, is how the AI and documentation, whether we do that in the beginning or if we sum it up in the end. I think I was rooting for a little bit in the beginning, only because it's so pervasive on what everybody is doing. Excuse me a second. I have a puppy eating my packages. Okay. Sorry about that. So again, the AI slides that we were going to work on is how to, or the slides that we were going to work on more as an overview is, you know, what we want to, what a documentation force, task force goals and objectives are, And again, this is a lot of words. We're going to get rid of the words, maybe use, just like the bulleted items on the top and discuss rather than have people read, because that's a bad presentation when people have to spend it reading. But these are kind of the points and the kind of the things that we want woven in everybody's work. So we want to provide that guidance and support for contributors. We want to ensure that all this stuff is easy to get at and that it's collaborative, so this is definitely where we want to be insofar as it, and this is kind of how we're going to get there. What we want to supply the community from a high level perspective. Again, each committee is going to be definitely getting into a little bit more of that. But this is kind of what we're going to be striving for. Again, where are we? And again, this is, didn't realize that was spelled wrong. The different ways that, we want this solution to benefit the community. So we want, to have defining structures. We want it to improve the performance, usability, and education for the community. And I'm not really sure if this slide's going to stay. Oh, Aruna's back just in time. So Aruna, what I was talking about was just that we weren't really sure where the AI is going to go in the beginning and how we're going to explain the documentation task force goals and objectives. I wasn't sure if you were still using this PowerPoint. So I will let you catch us up. And she's gone. Okay, I'll keep going here real quick again. So we were going to introduce the different subcommittees kind of in a fun way, hopefully with a storytelling. Oh, she's here. So Arunima, if you want to just let us know if we're still working from this PowerPoint, because then I will spend the afternoon adding everybody's information that they're putting out here today into this one slide, into this one presentation, or if you had somewhere else. Oh, good. So you're working from this PowerPoint. Excellent. Excellent. So my only questions to you again was, in the beginning, we have these 3 slides about what our goals and objectives and our purpose or what we want the outcome to be. We need to still freshen those up and make those fun and interactive. And then I'm just going to, I'm not sure if you can speak or if you're just going to type, but is there anything you need to add to this information, or can you try and see if your audio is better? Okay, good. So we're going to move on to Gianluca. So let me get back to here.
Yes. Hi, Bobby. Hi, everyone.
So Gianluca, I have to
Okay,
apologize. I did not reach out to Tracy, but I'm going to do that as soon as this call's over because she's still sleeping. And
Oh, no problem.
Peter,
No problem.
have you talked to her at all? No, I don't think so, right?
No. But no problem. No problem. No.
So
we
I can
we
reach
can
out
do it.
if you can just give me a time that's convenient for you. I'll send an email and set up a Zoom room for the 3 of us just to go over what you've recommended before we present it to anyone, because she would be, that like kind of last editor on what we've come up with. So let's see, I'll stop sharing and let you share your screen.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Also, I have a very short presentation to start from here. So I had some slide. Okay. I already talked about the idea, the goal of this topic, the the AI task force. One goal could be to integrate the GPT engine in our existing software, and I found some interesting article and also interesting tools in Hugging Face. Hugging Face is a very known startup, is a French startup, which is a website which contains a lot of AI tools, free tools. And so I investigated the background technology, which are the recurrent neural network, and also implemented an example with the EMDB movie dataset. And the other technology is the generative AI model, which the result are that one. That one is my experiment, which this is the best. After 50 epochs, a system trained with and written digits produce some good or not so good images. And after that, I also found that Llama from Meta, Facebook, is an open source GPT LLM model. I'm investigating, but it's an open source with no Apache 2 license, but also free downloadable, available, and also I can try and so on. After that, I had some ideas about the GitHub template, and one I'm working at the moment. One could be to create, for example, for improve the existing documentation, to create a workflow. This is a very simple example. For example, if people want to propose a new project, can have a workflow which suggests to him the several steps. For example, to read the information in the first step, and prepare information for a form in order to fill a form. After that, fill the form and clone the GitHub repo, and so on. So it could be, in my opinion, could be an help to a people who wants to propose a new project, to be clear, to have clear the process and different step of the process. And also to one idea could be to change this kind of wiki to this kind of wiki. So not just read something, but receive some tools to insert text, and it requires to allow you to go to the next step, because in some way it could be easy to have all the information in one simple page. I'm working on that, and
Yeah, that looks really nice. I never thought about the drop down boxes for that. That's a great idea.
yes, could be. I think if I want to propose a project, I have to read lot of pages, but to improve, I expect one single page with some links for information, but also a kind of form to fill. So in that way, the first step could be to fill the form with my information, with project, and click next. if the information are correct and also are enough to go to the next step, the system allow me to go to the second step of the proposal stage. If not, the system send me or show me a warning or a message in order to correct the error, or in order to allow me to find the other information needed for the next step, and so on. When I finish the process, I think it's important to have one page with a kind of summary, and when I can access to the GitHub repo to clone it and post my source code for the commission for the TOC. This is an idea, because I read all wiki pages about the proposal step, and for an improvement could be to have one single page, but to do that could be an idea could be to have a kind of workflow where each step consists of different step. For example, to fill form and receive messages and read information or other details and so on. If could be nice. I will continue to work on that in order to implement something to see. And just yesterday, I also found another tools. Okay, this is the final idea, to have a kind of ChatGPT in our system, which reply to our answer. And I found yesterday that GPT-2 version is open source, is available. I also downloaded it, and I'm starting to train that in order to see if it's possible to use this tool in our for our purpose. Okay, I finish. If someone has...
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. I am really excited about how you have organized the steps for the maintainers to make them easy. One of the things that when I was looking over the past weekend about the user guides, what I had come up with, and I had said this initially in one of the meetings for the recommendations, and let me see if I can.
Okay.
Was that I honestly think that the best thing that we can do is have kind of like a library where all this information is stored. So for instance, if I'm a new maintainer and I have a project that I want to go into a proposal, I want to go to the library and see a book right there that said, new project proposals. And again, then you get there and you get that one page with your drop down box. And so it's nice and simple how it goes. And one of the other things that in the user guide presentation is I saw what we need to do for Hyperledger community. And I'll get to it a little later, but it has a lot to do with the second part of what you just said with the open source ChatGPT-2. So we'll talk about that in a bit when we talk about the accessibility of all the user guides. So thank you, Gianluca. That is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm very much impressed with how you understand, the whole flow of.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is.
Okay, thank you.
Gianluca, let me share my screen again. Computer is so slow. Okay, so I am just going to find where you are. I have a new puppy and I apologize if you hear her crying or him crying. He doesn't know how to be quiet yet. So I just wanted to just add this really quickly. What am I doing? Here we go. Okay, whatever.
Bobby, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, finally.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So again, the only question that I had in the beginning is how are we going to make these slides talking about the goals and objectives of the task force incorporate in our storytelling, as well as make them a little bit more interesting. But that's something we can work on this
Okay,
week.
so like what I have thought about is that I will try making drop-down boxes so that when we click on each of them, the drop-down box will open and show the description.
Perfect, perfect. And if you want to
Yeah.
combine some of these so there's not so many, if you feel that they're saying the same thing and it's just a little repetitive, because you want to try to get this as concise as possible, so we're not going to bore them right off the bat.
Got it, got it,
You know, because
got
that's
it.
kind
I think there are 2 through 3 slides which can be like condensed a bit so that
Yep.
it looks more presentable. And yeah,
And
I
then
will
the
look
only
into
other
it.
decision, the only other decision you have to make is after we go through everybody today and we talk about the AI stuff. If you want to do that in the beginning, just to get everybody's head in the presentation, the fact that AI is so strong now in a documentation enterprise solution. But we'll see that when we finish getting the input from the committees. If that's
Okay. So I think regarding the introductions, what we can do is that when we will be introducing each of the subcommittees, at that time we can introduce each of the chairs. Each of the chairs can go ahead and introduce themselves rather than keeping all the introductions together. Everyone go ahead and give our introductions.
okay. And you can just update these slides to reflect that. That would be great. And you can get
Okay,
access,
okay.
everybody can get access to this, correct?
Yes, it is right there in the documentation task force wiki page.
Perfect. Okay, so did we do what's next? It's this one. And is there any other things that you have to say? Or any input that we missed or have to cover?
No, Bobby. And regarding the last meet, we just discussed like what we all have been doing till now. Like Kajal and Tripu gave some updates regarding how far they have been going. So maybe if they are here, they can share that. And yeah, we just discussed like how if there is any problem or what we have been working on. It was just about that.
Okay, great. So then we'll move on to Tripur with the GitHub Make the Docs. I know you have a presentation that I was trying to fit in here from the format that you had it on, and I was having trouble. I was downloading it to PowerPoint. I was copying and pasting, and it wasn't working right. So I will get to that. But I would love you to present that to everyone so that we can see because you nailed it. It's perfect.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Tripur, and I'm going to share how we are going to introduce Make the Docs to every mentee here, uh, to so that they can also learn and like use them uh, while they are working on it, and how they can use it. Like, Make the Docs is something when we use while making the docs. So this was I used Gamma for this, uh, and it worked really well because I just put down some description, like I am introducing it to Make the Docs to mentees. How can I do that? So it generated a really good like PPT, and I want everyone to look at clearly so that everyone can give me inputs if something is missing, any point they think that will add value in this presentation. I would love to take all the feedback. So let me start. So I basically thought that we will make a presentation, and I will say that we are going to introduce Make the Docs. Now in Make the Docs we use Markdown. what is Markdown? It is simple as HTML. So this is like, it's a very simple thing, and we can just learn it in like an hour, or maybe not in an hour, even in 10 minutes. So I will give a demo for that also. Then I thought that how to install make the docs and dependencies, which is very simple. We will start with installing Python and pip, and then we will install make the docs and extensions, install custom themes. That is up to you. Not like compulsory, but yeah, you can do that. Now we will look into the basic configuration of the project. I will give, we will start with tutorial where I will tell every mentee that how can we set a project in that, and how we create a project in that, how we can navigate through the pages, how we can use that in, if we are not even using in documentation, what else we can use it for. So this is the motive, and then I will then I will tell how to use Markdown. It is as simple as like using one hashtag for heading, and then two hashtags for subheading, and three for sub and subheadings, and so on. So I will do that, and we will able to do that. I will give you a tutorial on that. So if this sounds confusing, don't be. Then I was thinking like previewing and deploying your make the doc site. How we can do that, how we can use Netlify for that. It is a free like website where we can just if we put something on it, we can like share it, and it will give you a website of that thing. So yeah, I was thinking about that, and then some useful plugins and custom themes for make the docs. That was my that's what I was thinking, and I got the exact PPT of that. uh, and so I want everyone to give me a feedback on this, and then I will move forward to my other work. So anyone thinks that it's missing something, I will love to hear that.
Well, hi. Well, this is again great work, perfect timing, because Mushar's just asked in the chat how make the docs or read the docs or any of these themes can help in the Bevel documentation. So this is a perfect example of why we're doing what we're doing. So Bevel is a project that needs documentation, and the creation of that again basically falls onto the maintainers of the projects, but Hyperledger Community has to supply some help. So and I'm not sure if you really looked into this. I think I sent you the link to for the
Yeah,
for how make the docs is the recommended
this
community.
one, right?
Yeah, yes, because
Yeah.
this is our paid tooling policy. So you'll see we use Confluence. We have a paid subscription to Confluence. That's why you can create a new wiki page. And we do have that paid for Make the Docs. One of the recommendations, again, from the task force is how to get the Make the Docs that we pay for, a user guide for people like Mushir, who wants to use it to create awesome documentation that looks like Hyperledger Community, and so that he doesn't have to rethink everything every time they're creating documentation. So I love the presentation. I think the only thing maybe missing is that introduction as to why we're doing this. Like
Okay.
saying, okay, so what is make the docs for Hyperledger Community? What's its purpose? Its purpose is to get our streamlined community documentation, make it easier for maintainers. And then the demo is going to be great because again, you can you're a mentee and have to provide documentation for this GitHub repository or for this new project or for this. How do I do that with Make the Doc? So this is perfect. So if anybody else has anything else to say, and I'm sure if this helps you in any way, please jump in.
Yes, Bobby. But actually, the thing is that it is already hosted on Read the Docs, so there is no support for that, right? I will have to use this only then.
What do you mean by no support?
The actual documentation which it is hosted is using Read the Docs. So if I want to use the Hyperledger recommended one, that is Make the Docs, we will have to migrate it to Make the Docs, right?
Well, that was one of the big things that when we started this task force, it was the discussion at the TOC. And we came up with a policy for this documentation task force that we will not be asking any maintainers or project people to go backwards and look at their documentation, that these recommendations are for moving forward. So if you like and what you're doing and you're comfortable with it, you can, we're not telling you to change. This is more for when people like yourself say, I want to improve the documentation, starting with this new release. Maybe I can run it through Make the Docs instead of Create the Docs and see what I come up with. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, yeah.
We'd love it if you want to go backwards and make it all streamlined and the same, but that's a little bit of a big ask for the maintainers since they're already so busy creating code, that we're trying to make this as simple as possible. And I
Right.
feel, and I know that from my research in AI, I think there's going to be so many tools that will make user guides, ebooks, and lessons from your GitHub repositories that will put Make
Mhm.
the Docs, Create the Docs to shame. But that's just my opinion.
Okay, yeah, got it. So
So
I'll
what we're going to do
confirm
at
with
the
the
end,
maintainers then. I'll confirm with the maintainers then once.
yes, and if you would like to send a link to what a GitHub repository that you'd like documentation for, maybe this committee at some point can run it through and use that as our use case for the demo. So if you want to drop a link to a repository that could use documentation, that would be
Oh,
helpful
okay.
for us.
So the current Babel repository that I'm working on, that one.
Yes. And we'll
Yeah,
see,
sure.
we'll run, maybe use it as the use case for the demo to see how we can
Mhm.
do that. If that's, I'm like, putting Tupor on the
Yes.
spot here, do this, but
Sure, yeah, no, I can share the link that
that would
I'm
be
working on.
wonderful.
Also, Tripur, if you can just share that other link which you showed now regarding the policies, so I'll just go through that.
Yeah, sure.
And again, this is one of the reasons why I think we need a library. A lot of people don't know that paid policy page exists, what we offer. So it's nice to know what you can have access to.
Yes, actually, yeah, right.
Okay,
So,
anything else to report?
yeah, actually, I worked on some previous things also. So, as we have discussed that we are also in the AI task force, right? So, I came up with an idea and I found a repository which is all about AI and AI tools. So, if you need an AI detection, there are some tools, and now we have to go through which one we are comfortable with. It has audio, avatars, and if you want to provide a chat, coding tools, then we have copywriting that will be like will help technical writers or some those coders that who don't want to write all about what the user guide is. We have customer support. So these are all the AI tools that I think that will be fun if we can go through once. And actually there are just so many that I can't go alone. So if any every I just want everyone to go through it,
Well,
and if they find
this is a great list, like wonderful resource. It's amazing. Thank you. And I just want to really quickly share my screen to give you a little purpose. Hold on a second. Okay, so I did this again when I was going through Agnes's work and the user guide work. I was taken aback by how vast and how the amount of information. So I found this one company called Learn Worlds, and they created a dashboard of AI tools. And what they're like a white label documentation training task force. So you can use their product and create these great things, and let me show you, am I sharing my screen? Yes. Or like, this is what they have, So it is their interface, not Chat GBT's. So I'm thinking that Hyperledger can do that. So what they offer for, again, because AI is so vast, we only need to focus for this task force on documentation and user guides. So I tried to categorize how a documentation, training, user guide, learning materials, working group, task force needs AI. And I came up with these categories. And if anyone has any to add, please just edit this slide. But the first one would be a course planner, how you can generate course outlines. So again, a new repository for Bevel, a new functionality. You get that title and the functionality, you put it in. I like, again, I'm whimsical all the way. I think it's the best thing. You put it in, you create a mind map for it, or you create an outline for it. You take that, you could put it in, and I'm not sure what ebook writer they were using at Learn Worlds, but after what I just saw you share, I'm sure we can find a tool that can do this. So that
Yeah.
is creating ebooks so that the entire Hyperledger community will use the same editor, the same dashboard. So if I'm, again, like someone from Firefly, and Firefly comes out with their, or for instance, Fabric is coming out with 3.0, I want ebooks that will take a user in small chunks through the entire architectural structure of the new Fabric product. I don't want one big massive online course to scare people away. I want little ebooks. So here, you just click on here, plug in your outline, and boom, the Hyperledger templates would be applied. Well, this is what I feel our solution should look like. Again, an assessment designer, so a tool to design the tests, feedback, to gather feedback from the students, to edit the courses, and a content editor. You don't need editors anymore. You have AI tools that can edit these ebooks to make sure, again, you have to read them over, but to make sure. And then these are more marketing tools for an educational community, would be an email creator, so that we can keep everyone in the loop once they finish, for instance, the ebook for the beginning of the Architect for Fabric 3.0, not lose them, so that they take the next class in that, or next ebook, or next whatever. And then again, sitting in next week, I think that might be this week, on the Learning Token mentorship program. I really think that should be incorporated in this new community documentation dashboard, which would have these AI tools. So that's just how I see. So if you want to go back to that list you just saw, and in your head quickly go through and just put links under each one of these categories, anyone can do on the call, put your links in, and next time, I think next week we can do this. I think that we should meet either Tuesday or Wednesday, because I have to hop off in 5 minutes to go through the other committees and continue this. So if anybody has any problems, I will put a calendar evite out, so it will be on the community calendar for a call. Let's just do a show of hands. Let me get to my participants. Can anyone make a Tuesday, same time, 9 a.m. call? Raise your hand. And if you can't, put a thumbs down, and then we'll talk about another day. So if everybody can make it, hands up, thumbs down if you can't. No answer means that you'll try. You'll give it a college try. This would be tomorrow. Next week, we'll go over the AI tools everybody thinks that we should use. I see that Victoria asked that question. But I think that we can extend this regular meeting tomorrow, because we're not going to cover everything we need to cover. But if that's inconvenient, put a thumbs down and we'll make another time. If not, I will go to the calendar evite. And I will put a link on our documentation task force page. If it doesn't show up on the calendar Evite, I'll do a private Zoom room and I will put it on this page. So again, so this document, the presentation I was just working on is right here. Linked presentation. Go in, edit your section. If you have any AI tools or suggestions for what I'm envisioning, a metaverse library, some kind of interactive library or interactive dashboard, maybe make it with some wireframes and that whimsical. I'm telling you, I love that program. Whatever we have to do to get the idea, because again, I'm going to the slideshow real quick. Our final recommendation page, so 2 pages. If you are committee chair, please update your section here on the PowerPoint presentation. Add slides, take out my slides, say what you want to say. We still have to organize how we're going to present the AI tools, but I created an initial slide, which I'm looking forward to people editing right here, which I think is a good start for what a community documentation AI powered learning experience can look like. If anybody thinks any more categories that I left out, like I don't see anything about the YouTube videos, and I know we will have to go over that tomorrow as well. The YouTube learning experience as well. And if you have any tools that you think can accomplish this, please put links in here and we'll go over that either tomorrow or definitely next week on our call. But also a page for people to add on to is this. At the end, I threw this out there for brainstorming recommendations, so that at the end of this, we're going to make recommendations. And one of my big recommendation is that there should be a library for materials, not just learn. And then when you go to the learn button, there's 8 choices. There should just be a library. It should look like books, fabric, ebooks for fabric 3.0, user guides, step 1 through 10, like really simple to find as if I walked into a public library, so that I can get to where I want to go. Go ahead, Arunima. Oh, not sure if I'm saying. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, like what were you asking? Like
Oh no, I just thought you had your hand raised. I thought you wanted to say something.
oh no, I thought like I forgot to lower my hand.
Oh, okay, no worries. Okay, so my recommendation so far from going over this, and again, I would love it to see this page so full with recommendations that we have so much to talk about. So I can see the library for the materials, whether that is a button on the onboarding. I know we onboard in 5 places. If that's a button everywhere on the onboarding for library, that's great. Whether it's a metaverse, I think Hyperledger should have a metaverse that's manned 24/7 for people to go in and learn. I think that library should be in the metaverse. I think that we should have a curated education YouTube channel that has someone there, like at like office hours, like every day between this hour and this hour, somebody will be there to direct you, answer your questions, and give you the learning materials you need. So almost like a librarian, curated YouTube channel. I think that we should create a documentation lab where we can generate, that's what I had just showed you, that dashboard with all those topics, so that all the documentation can be generated a few clicks away for people, and that they don't have to think about formatting or outputs or font sizes. They just have to think about the information. And then I think that our frequently asked questions should be a learned AI chatbot from our community information, not a general one. And then I think that everything we do should be translated into every language possible, and that library should reflect that language by different rooms or different libraries for different languages. So again, I have to hop off and I apologize for this. I will put a link for a meeting for tomorrow where we will continue going over the subcommittees and what they've come up with their subcommittees. And if we have time, we'll jump into our AI. Again, I'm just throwing stuff out here. We're going to have to organize this in the next few weeks. So if anybody
Bobby?
has anything to say, raise your hand or just jump right in.
Hey Bobby, I want to recommend something. Can we do that meeting on Wednesday instead of
I have
tomorrow?
no problem with Wednesday. Everybody, if anybody has a problem with Wednesday, show a thumbs down. If you're okay with Wednesday, clap your hands, do a salute, whatever. So we'll do it to Wednesday. So this is instead of tomorrow, we'll do a Wednesday 9 a.m. meeting. I don't see any thumbs down. I'll give it another few seconds. All right, so it's Wednesday. We'll meet again Wednesday to continue exactly where we left off today. Going through the subcommittees and then a discussion on how AI can fit in the overall community's efforts. Thank you very much, and we'll talk Wednesday.
Bye, Bobby.